people are you asking?
The ones that are nominated to run.
Oh, you mean the candidates?
Candidates.
They already did that. That was done in May.
Well, how's that process done then?
Oh, so candidates come to the town committees. The town committees usually have a screening committee. They go for an interview. They present their resume and their credentials. They talk to them about issues. And then, like Taylor said, they had like a designated convention in Huntington. In some towns, they had to beg people to run for various offices. In Brookhaven, for the first time, we didn't need to do that. We had an overwhelming response to people running
So each
for offices
committee
here.
member is sent a letter or something that says, please come to this?
Yeah, or an email, or,
Because
yeah.
I'm a committee member and I was
In
not.
which town?
In Iceland.
Iceland, okay.
And I was not privy to that. So I
Okay,
just
well, if you want to give
let you
me,
know.
yeah, Karen, if you want to speak, well, we'll get her name and just double check and make sure you're on the list.
Because I would like to be part of that process. And
Sure.
not
Yep.
So just one more follow-up
Sure.
with regard to what you were saying. I think a lot of what I'm hearing you say this evening is kind of the amount of time it takes. So it's not just to move towards a leadership position as an elected official or to campaign for a position. So you've mentioned people who've started in 2010, or they should notify you 2 years out if you want to look to be running.
Well, that's a good way to start your campaign.
Right. So I see that
This is a lot of
argument,
work.
and it's also a way to vet people, right? To make sure they're really committed.
That,
and they
but
really
also,
want it.
make sure that they understand that if you want to go out and run a campaign, and again, everyone thinks you can't just pop up in May and expect to be well known in November. There's a lot of work that goes into that, so that's why I just want people to understand that.
Right, and I think you're right, but I also think what a lot of people here this evening are trying to say is that we're in a new moment, and not to miss it.
Sure.
Because what's happened as a result of that one way of thinking is disillusionment. So there's a real opportunity there. These candidates have a lot of energy behind them, and they could win in ways that they couldn't have in the past.
Good evening, Supervisor Schaffer. My name is Juan Leone from Amityville, New York. Many of you might know me just from being involved Democrat since I was old enough to vote. Some of you might remember me as being the Director of Veterans and Military Affairs for Congressman Israel when he was in office, or being the Vice President on the school board, or half a dozen other Adobe titles. I'm here today, we'll just say a couple things. Luba, I don't know if you remember, I met you. You came to my door, knocked at my door, and I signed for you. And you talked about your children, I talked about mine, I wished you well, and it was really a pleasure meeting you. And also too to Daryl. Daryl, I consider my brother, I really do. Daryl was a corpsman in the Navy, served overseas. I was a medic in the Army, also served overseas. Same job, different outfit. But I just want you to know, I have a lot of love for you. And I support you in anything, really.
Thank you, Warren.
If I have a moment, I'd just like to say something that's been very important to me in my life, because I tend to see things through the lens of a veteran, which, by the way, not a lot of them in the party. But when I came home from being overseas in Afghanistan, I had scraped together as much money as I could, somewhere in the ballpark of $40,000 or $50,000. I had one kid, I was married, and looking to stay in Amityville, where I grew up and loved so much. The problem is, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to get a mortgage in that town. I remember feeling frustrated. I remember feeling upset. How could this happen to me? And for what it's worth, I came to the town of Babylon. I did. And they had this excellent program, which was for veterans, first-time homeowners. I applied. I was granted that, and it opened doors. It really did. After that, I was able to get a mortgage. I was able to live in a village where you saw my home. It's not fine living, but it works. It works. I've always paid my mortgage, always been a great neighbor.
I'm sorry, we're just very short on time. Is there a question for Rich coming in?
Yes, just a comment more than anything. Anyway, I'm pretty happy, I'm pretty content, And I'll be honest, I don't deal too much with bickering and fighting. Maybe it's because I have 2 kids at home. So I kind of, I try to get away from it. But I guess at the end of the day, I just want to say to myself personally, the other party is not my party. This is still my party. At the end of the day, I may not know all of you, but we're family. We really are. So, I hope little things get worked out, but, don't, I don't know. I guess I want some kind of unity.
Great.
That's my comment.
Thank you.
Hi, Rich. I'm Eileen Duffy with Let's Visit Lee Zeldin, and I'm kind of following up on Ashley and also Mike Connor and Ms. Catherine. I think what has really come out tonight is that there's always going to be deal making in politics. You're obviously really good at it. And I think what has really come out is that the cross endorsements we don't think is a good idea, and you're obviously on board with that. What I would like to do tonight is to come away with a plan how Suffolk County can be a leader in the state for making them happen. So if you have somebody on your staff, Matt or Keith or somebody, that you could set up a group or a committee of people who can contact your office and say, we want to be part of the initiative to get rid of cross endorsements in New York State. What is the first step? And so if we can figure that out tonight.
We'll also involve people from the state legislature.
Right, but we want to be the leaders on that.
No, I mean, but
Of course.
not just the campaign side, but also the government side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's the first person we should call tomorrow to get this started?
Me.
Okay, no, I want something like who's going to be on the staff or something. I know. But,
I haven't talked to them yet. I'll figure that out, but call me.
okay. So if everybody can call Rich tomorrow.
So do me a favor, call. I have budget hearings from 9 to 12, so I'm available after 12.
Right. So I think that's a lot of the people.
Or send me an email.
A lot of people in this room represent a bunch of other people that could not come
Yep.
tonight. So I think what you're hearing loud and clear is that Suffolk County really wants to be leaders on this.
Yep.
So
Heard
let's
it.
name it right now. What are we going to call it? Suffolk County against cross endorsements. Cross out cross endorsements.
Do
Something
you
like
want to
that.
call it that? Sure.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Grace and peace. My name is Judith Monzwan, and I live in the town of Gate. So I have a question, and I just want to make a statement.
Sure.
I was at an event like this in the fall. It was hosted by Legislator Colombo's office, and unfortunately, I see the same pattern there that I see here. And it's the ugly elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. There is a lack of diversity in the room. It's constantly happening. I want to know, and I'm not going to make the assumption to speak for everyone in the room. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm going to speak as a Black woman. I'm not going to assume that everybody in the room has the same issues that I have. How can I help you to get more of us in the room?
And we'll talk about how to do it.
Okay, and it has to be like,
Did you take my phone number there?
I have your phone number and I have all the other
Email.
information.
Good.
I also got an application for the committee.
Good.
But one of the things is that this location is not feasible. When we're looking at making a location that everybody can get to, locations like this don't work.
You gotta talk, the group, I didn't set this up, the group
Okay,
did.
all right, excellent.
Right.
So I will go you.
Yes, thank you.
I share Shauna's issue with the short woman issue, so I'm lowering the microphone. But I'm actually going to turn this around a little bit because I want to introduce myself to everybody here as well. Rich already knows who I am.
Yes.
So my name is Cindy Morris, and I am one of your pop-up group leaders, first and foremost. I'm one of the people who worked with Eileen Duffy and a few other people in this room at starting the coalition that supports your pop-up leadership. We had a meeting with Rich Schaffer, which we had requested back in March, that said, we wanted to work with the Democratic Party. And in that meeting, he said to us, if we want to beat Lee Zeldin, then we needed to do something. What we needed to do was we needed to win Brookhaven. Because otherwise we weren't going to get the money we needed to fight Zeldin. And he said that, and we said to him, well, you've never seen as many people as are willing to come out against Zeldin. You've never seen them before, and we're coming out. We're new, right? And he said, okay, prove it. Win Brookhaven. And so I said to him, okay, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to run for office. I will tell you, people ask me all the time, I'm running for Brookhaven Town Clerk, and people ask me all the time, how's it going? And I say to them two things. It is the hardest damn thing I have ever done. And it is the greatest privilege I have ever had. And I mean both of those things. I will tell you, it is the hardest thing I have ever done, and I'm going to turn back to you, Rich, because coming into this as somebody totally new, and somebody who really, is doing this because I want to fight these Zeldin so badly that my kids, I say this all the time, my kids eat more macaroni and cheese now than you can believe.
They probably have it.
They are thrilled. Mama's not. But we need support as candidates. We need people who can tell us, these people will work on your campaign. These people will do this. I have been told that it's very hard. I can't even get a list of Brookhaven Town Democratic Committee members to call to get help. So, yeah, I've been told that's not the system how it works. So we need support desperately. We need that because we want the people in this room to be able to run for office and to support candidates. I'm telling you that we need that. I will also say to everybody else in this room that there are candidates, and I see them, and not many of us are standing up in here talking, but I'm going to stand up and talk. We need your support. We need it desperately. We need you to come out and help us win. Because 4 years ago, the woman who holds the position I'm running for, 4 years ago, the Democratic Party didn't run anybody against her. You want to know why? A backroom deal. And despite that, Rich Schaffer backed me for this office. And you should know that too. Okay? Threatened the Democratic Party that they would pull their endorsements from major county seats and town seats if they ran me, and I'm running. So we should know that that's going on too. And damn right I'm going to win this thing.
We have 5 minutes left and there's people waiting. If there's a question.
But I guess the question for everybody in here is to think very hard how we can make sure that those people running, I'm staring at some of them in this room right here, can get our support back us. Because with that, Rich can fight and we can all fight to get rid of these cross endorsements we want.
Great. Thank you, Cindy.
Hello. Yes, I wasn't even planning on asking a question. My name is Kimberly Cooley. I was a founding steering committee member of Long Island Activists. I'm actually a resident of Nassau, but I worked on the Pellegrino and the short-lived, so sad, Luga campaign, Gretchen Shirley's campaign. So I am going to piggyback off of what a random DNC staffer said to Donna Brazil after the election, and piggyback off of some of the sentiments I've heard in the room. Come off maybe a little more disrespectfully than I intend, so forgive me.
No
but
disrespect taken.
you're going to die of old age, and I'm going to die of climate change. But the conflicts of interest or appearance of a conflict of interest, and you're wearing 2 hats, both as elected town supervisor and the chairman. Perhaps, and this was raised earlier, and I don't mean, I've been accused by people in this room as well as people watching at home of coming with my pitchfork and wanting to unseat you. But this is even a discussion that's happening in Nassau regarding some Board of Elections employees, the conflicts, wearing 2 hats. We don't have time. I allude to that quote that was given to Donna Brazil, whether it's because Trump is in office or because our sea levels are rising or, a number of other things. do you think perhaps you're doing a disservice because you're human and you need to sleep and you can't be two places at once? You're here with us talking about the inside baseball of the Democratic Party, and you're not perhaps with incarcerated men of color or children that are at risk. Do you think perhaps you're doing a disservice? Even the elephant in the room, if you were a lesbian, transgendered woman of color, you wouldn't have the privilege of being in both positions simultaneously. And I don't begrudge you for who you are, and I've heard so many wonderful things about you walking the community. Yeah.
I don't think I'm doing a disservice, and I think, again, based on the work that I put in, and anybody can answer that for you, I put in a great deal of work. I'm not married, I don't have children, I don't have any responsibilities, and I work. So I don't believe I'm doing a disservice. I don't know what else to tell you. I was in my office from 9 o'clock yesterday till probably about 8 o'clock last night.
I can't get.
I don't know what else to tell you.
You're human, though. You can't.
My therapist said I should get a hobby, but there's nothing else I can tell you. Go talk to my therapist. She'll agree with you.
Rich, this will just take a second. There's a tweet that went out that there was a question asked.
She went down to Washington.
Not official ones for outsiders as opposed to insiders, like with the situation with Lugo or with Christine Pellegrino. It seemed like you backed candidates, and one of the explanations, even though they weren't Democrats, is that, well, I've known those guys for a really long time. Is there sort of this idea that you have to be inside for 10, 15 years before, and that those people will get preference?
No, because if you take a look at some of the people that we got elected to the county legislature, a lot of those people were people who were never involved in the party. Doc Spencer, for example, I don't know what legislative district you live in Huntington, but Doc Spencer came up and decided he wanted to run. There was 3 or 4 candidates who were interested in running, all never involved before, but came forward as community leaders, and the committee agreed on Doc Spencer, who had a great built-in constituency, because everybody came up and when they said they were voting for him, they said, Doc, and look at my kids' tonsils. You did a great job in taking them out. So there have been a number of people, and the county legislature is the best place to get started for people who are just regular people who decide they want to get involved. The districts are small enough. You don't need a tremendous amount of money to run the campaign. And that's how I ran the first time when I was 22, when I got elected to the legislature, and I ran on a budget of about $20,000 that I raised from my family and friends to get elected. So there's opportunities for that. Congress, you try and find more established candidates, but as Elaine was telling me, she's getting a great reaction on the phone. She's been doing phone calls to raise money over the past couple of weeks, and she's getting a great reaction on that. So I think in the local elections, there is a good opportunity.
Guys, I'm sorry. I think we're going to have to start to cut this off because we're already 10 minutes over and the library is going to throw us out. If we could just say thank you to Rich Schaffer for
thank you very much.
coming here.
Thank you. And if you have follow-ups, just give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll arrange a time to speak to you, or shoot me a text, because that's my cell phone number that I gave you. Again, thank you very much.
So apparently we're being told we have until 9 p.m. So we'll take those last 3 and then we're going to cut it off. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, Kenny.
Okay, just a couple more quick questions, just piggybacking off of what other people have asked. You're not currently supporting Bill Boyle for sheriff, right?
No.
Were you at any point planning on endorsing him during the cycle? Okay, and you're going to be supporting John Brooks in
Yes,
the next...
I met with John last week.
Okay.
We started talking about his campaign.
All right, excellent. And thank you, Fred, for your support.
John Brooks is a Republican when you want.
Roger.
I'm the cast. So I'm here basically because I got interested in the seconds to be started. And what this group really needs is a candidate. You really need a candidate really quickly. We're only like 18 months, less than 18 months out.
We need one by Labor, we need one by Labor Day.
That would raise a lot of money. You know, we need a candidate quickly. What are we doing to expedite that?
So we are talking to several people who are interested. I've talked to Dwayne a couple of times. He's been down to Washington. There's a fellow by the name of Tim Gomes, who is a businessman from Sayville, who came to see me, who was referred by some people from Nassau County. He went down to the DCCC, and so I'm waiting to hear back from him. And I'm talking to a couple of other elected officials. I've told Dwayne that he has, in my mind, he should get first crack at whether or not he wants to run, so that decision will be on him or jointly together. And then we'll expand it out to these other candidates so we can come up with somebody, hopefully by Labor Day, if not sometime in September, that we'd have a candidate against King. That person can get started and start doing the work that has to be done through the DCCC, as well as fundraising and organizing and putting consultants together.
All right, Darrell St. George. Rich, I want to thank you for coming out here tonight because it definitely was, I'm sure, not very easy, but you handled it well. And your opening statement when you talked about why you went into politics, I was deeply moved by that. And I do admire you, and I think that you're dealing with a really difficult problem right now. You're working with a system that I think we all would agree on is broken. And you, I think, have even conceded that and acknowledged that. Sure. And my hope for tonight is moving forward that we're going to work together collectively to fix this system, because we are a family and we may not agree on everything, but at the end of the day we have the right values.
Yes.
And I think that that's what's most important. My question really specifically has to do with our particular race. It was mentioned earlier in the evening, I'm running for town supervisor in Huntington. And I will say I'm very proud of this. We have made history. Our volunteers have researched this, and maybe somebody here can correct me, but I don't think there's ever been a primary, a Democratic primary for supervisor in the town of Huntington.
I don't think so. Maybe town board, but not supervisor.
So we've made history. And that was something that, that is something I'm very proud to say that was just mothers, teachers, veterans, lawyers, doctors, writers. Former students, you're right, you met some. Millennials got together and believed in our campaign, believed in our message, and they achieved what everybody said was never going to happen. They helped get us on the ballot. And I served in the military. That was when I first met you, when I came back from Afghanistan. If you recall, I met you because I was interested in running for Carl Marcelino's seat.
One of your former students introduced.
Matt Cohen. Yeah. And that's when we first met. So what we have achieved together, our group of volunteers, is truly, in my view, it helps me reconcile some of the things that we had to do over there in Afghanistan, and I genuinely mean that, because I believe that we were fighting for democracy, and I'm very proud of that. And I guess my question is, and I think I know the answer to the question, but I need to hear you say it.
Sure.
My question is, we have a primary in September 12th, and I know that our opponent has the resources of the county and the town behind her. She has $175,000 in her account. We have just under $10,000. We have a campaign headquarters, and we have a group of committed, enthusiastic volunteers, and we're out knocking on doors, busting our butt, excuse my language, but we don't have any support coming from the committee. And my question is, why?
Well, the town committee held a designated convention. They designated Tracy, so they support that candidate.
Okay, just one minute.
Yep.
Ron, can I just make one point? Will there be a follow-up to this meeting? Can we have a state of the county meeting at some future point?
Sure. But I'd also not wait till that. You've got my contact information.
Right, but I think it's important to have it in a public forum so that
I get that, but I don't want you to I don't want to not hear from you.
Well, you'll hear from us.
So that's why I give you the contact information, because it's important, Margaret.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I clarify one thing?
Very briefly.
Running for office, that's running for what, the council position?
Cindy?
Town clerk.
Okay, the town clerk position. She said that she got the endorsement of Mr. Schaffer
Cindy, well, that was Cindy Morris. Is she still here?
Against,
there she is.
against your deal. So you,
No.
you were endorsing her even though you made a deal not to endorse her.
No.
That's not what I said.
No.
That's how I interpreted it, that's why I'm asking for clarification.
Yeah, no, that was a deal from 4 years ago, but it was now that Cindy wanted to run, and we said that she was going to run. So the committee endorsed Cindy to run.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm still very confused.
A pass. So Susan just asked me to announce Sony May Spruce Up event Brentwood. This is, you can go to the Long Island Housing Partnership website. She's got flyers here. So if anybody's looking to do something in Brentwood, Saturday, September 16th.
Just before everybody leaves, just a couple of quick announcements. One thing is that thank you card is still going around. Marianne is holding it up in the back. Long Island activist has been accused of being really tough on Democrats. Guilty as charged. But Senator Gillibrand has gotten right on this issue, and she deserves praise for it. Please put your name on that card. Let her know we're watching, and we're very happy that she's getting on the right side of this issue, single payer.
And two more very quick announcements. On August 24th, I'm throwing a fundraiser for Joe Tronalone, who is running for the county legislature. So I will be posting the invitation to this first thing tomorrow morning.
When's that, Booba?
August 24th. And I hope to see everyone there. I will post this information. Please buy tickets. It's an incredibly important race. And then the other announcement is I will be posting that Google form again for everybody who is interested in joining the county committee. Sign up. We have almost 100 people so far. Please add your names to that. So those are two things I will post tomorrow morning. Take a look.
Charity is not the same as justice.